For years, Earth was one of the most active members of the Galactic Council. They talked to everyone, traded with every species, and shared new technology faster than anyone expected. Humans were curious, confident, and always asking questions. Then, they went silent. One day, all communication from Earth and its colonies stopped. No messages, no diplomats, no trade. Ships returning from human space said the same thing. Earth was sealed. A strange energy shield surrounded the entire system. No one could get in. No one could get out. The Council thought it was a glitch. Then, 2 scout ships were sent to investigate. They never came back. Now, on the artificial planet Verdaxis, the Galactic Council held an emergency session. Representatives of hundreds of alien species gathered in the giant chamber, each inside their own environmental pod. Some floated, others crawled, some shimmered with light or heat, but all of them were tense, nervous, scared. At the center stood High Chancellor Trell of the Centauri Dominion. He was tall, covered in deep blue scales, and his golden robes shimmered as he raised his hand to speak. Council members, Trell said, his voice calm but cold, we can no longer deny the truth. Earth has cut all ties. Their ships do not respond. Their planets are silent. And now, 2 of our own vessels are missing. A low hum of worry filled the room. Some species blinked in rapid patterns. Others let out nervous gas or shook their limbs. Trell continued. We must consider the possibility that humanity has turned against us. We gave them knowledge, trade, respect, and now, they close their doors. Why? Before anyone could answer, a new voice echoed across the chamber. Maybe they're not closing their doors to hide, said a woman. Maybe they're trying to protect us. All eyes turned to the speaker. A human woman stood near the back, alone without a delegation. Her clothes were simple. Her face was calm, but her eyes carried the weight of fear and experience. I am Alara Voss, she said, former diplomatic commander, Earth Division. I was removed from service months before the silence began. I don't represent my government, not anymore, but I know something is very wrong. Trell frowned. You are no longer authorized to speak here. Then don't listen to my title, Alara replied. Listen to the facts. She stepped forward. Before I was exiled, I saw a file, a human project called Solace. No details, just warnings. Black-level encryption. Earth hasn't disappeared because they're angry. They're scared. And whatever they're scared of, it's not us. Murmurs rose again. Some delegates laughed. Others whispered in concern. Trell raised his voice. This is speculation, nothing more. Earth has chosen isolation. That alone is a threat. A small drone flew into the chamber and landed on a platform beside Trell. A council officer stepped forward, reading a new report. Chancellor, he said, we just received word. One of our patrol ships approached the edge of the Terran system. It vanished. No signal, no debris, nothing. The chamber fell into silence. Alara took a deep breath. They told us this might happen. We just didn't believe them. Trell turned toward her slowly. Are you saying Earth warned us? Yes, she replied. Just not with words. A long pause followed. Trell's eyes narrowed. If humans believe we are a threat, then we must act before they do, he said. Alara's voice was low but firm. Or we could try listening, just once. Trell didn't answer. He turned back toward the council and said, we begin preparations. The session ended. The chamber dimmed. Outside, stars continued to shine, but Earth remained silent, and silence was beginning to feel like a warning. Alara Voss left the council chamber alone. Her words had been heard, but not trusted. The delegates were divided. Some saw her as a traitor. Others whispered that maybe, just maybe, she was right. She didn't care what they thought. She needed answers. Her first stop was deep below Verdaxis, in a restricted archive known only to former diplomats and intelligence officers. Getting in wasn't easy. Her clearance was long expired, but Alara still had a few favors left. A retired Gorlax technician, now working security, recognized her. Alara Voss, the slug-like alien said with surprise. You're supposed to be off-world. Plans changed, she replied. I just need one file. Project Solace. It's time someone knew what Earth was hiding. The Gorlax hesitated. Then slowly, it pressed its wide hand against the door panel. The gate hissed open. Inside, the archive was cold and quiet. Rows of shimmering data crystals floated in midair, rotating slowly under soft blue lights. Alara moved quickly, scanning until she found it. Solace, access denied. Level 7 encryption, human origin only. Of course, even here, Earth's secrets were locked tight. She stared at the data crystal, knowing she wouldn't be able to open it. But just seeing the project listed confirmed something: it was real, and it had been active just weeks before Earth went silent. As she turned to leave, her personal comm unit buzzed. A voice spoke, quiet and scrambled. Alara, it's me. Darnell. Alara froze. Darnell Gray, an old ally. Former intelligence officer for the Council, secretly born on Earth, but now working in the outer systems. I've been watching the broadcasts, he said. Meet me at the Miron docks. Dock 9. I have something to show you. Then the signal ended. Later that cycle, Alara arrived at the docks. They were old, rusted, and half-abandoned. Cargo bots moved slowly, and ships hummed in low orbit. She kept her hood up. At Dock 9, an old courier vessel waited, small and unmarked. The ramp lowered as she approached. Inside, Darnell stood by the controls, looking older than she remembered, gray in his hair, circles under his eyes. You look terrible, she said. You look alive, he replied. That's more than I expected. They embraced briefly. Then Alara got to the point. You said you had something. Darnell nodded and activated a hollow screen. Earth didn't just build a shield, he said. They built a wall across time. Alara frowned. What does that mean? I intercepted fragments, broken code, pieces of a signal that leaked just before Earth went dark. They weren't talking to the Council. They were talking to something else. He tapped the controls. A distorted message played. Containment breach. External threat approaching. Shield activation required. Do not engage. Repeat, do not engage. Alara's blood went cold. This isn't about war, she whispered. It's about survival. Darnell nodded. Earth found something out there. Something the rest of the galaxy isn't ready to face. Why hide it? Because no one would believe them. Because the Council always ignores what it doesn't understand. Alara sat down, her mind racing. The missing ships. The silence. Project Solace. It all made sense now. They're not preparing for war, she said. They're preparing for something coming through the dark. Just then, warning lights flashed on Darnell's ship. Unidentified vessel approaching. The ship's AI reported. Military class. Centauri markings. Turles people. They found you? Alara asked. I've been careful, Darnell said, grabbing the controls. But not careful enough. Outside, a sleek black warship appeared. Weapons active. We have to leave, Darnell said. If they catch us, this ends now. Alara nodded. Then take me to Earth. Darnell paused. That's suicide. It's the only way to know the full truth, she said. And if I don't come back, at least the galaxy will know I tried. The engines roared to life. The courier ship turned sharply, vanishing into a jump tunnel as the Centauri warship fired behind them. Alara held tight. Whatever was waiting behind Earth's shield, she had to see it with her own eyes. Alara stood beside Darnell in the cockpit as stars blurred around them. The courier ship trembled with every second they stayed in hyperspace. They were heading into forbidden space, the sealed region around Earth. No one had made it in before. Alara held her breath as the ship dropped out of hyperspace near the edge of the Terran shield. It filled the view ahead, a massive wall of light and energy, shimmering in colors that shifted like flowing water. It curved endlessly in every direction, covering the entire solar system. The Terran shield, Darnell said quietly. No one knows how it works. It scrambles quantum sensors and burns through anything that tries to pass. Alara nodded. Except maybe this ship. Darnell grinned faintly. I rebuilt the hull with pre-shield codes embedded in it. Older tech. Earth might not see us as a threat. He tapped the controls. Let's find out. The ship moved forward, slowly. As it reached the edge of the shield, alarms flared and the lights flickered. The energy wall pulsed, glowing brighter. Then, the ship passed through. No resistance, no reaction. Inside the barrier, space was eerily silent. Stars looked distant. Planetary signals were muted, but the ship's radar now picked up the inner system. Mars, the asteroid belt, Earth, and hundreds of objects between them. Darnell's voice dropped. Oh no. Before them was a fleet, massive ships, silent, dark, and armed. Some were parked in orbit around Earth. Others floated in high orbit across the system. Human-made warships, but not like anything the Council had seen. Some were sleek and modern. Others looked ancient, as if they had been sleeping for centuries. What is this? Alara asked, stunned. Darnell zoomed the screen. That's Project Solace. The closest ship turned slightly, reacting to their presence. A light blinked on its hull. Scans activated. The courier ship powered down automatically. Completely. No engines. No lights. The shield had allowed them in, but the system was now watching. A voice crackled through the comm. Unknown vessel, state your purpose. Alara leaned forward. This is Alara Voss, former diplomatic commander of Earth. I seek an audience with Central Command. There was silence. Then the voice returned. Commander Voss, authorization confirmed. You may proceed. The ship came back online. Earth's warships opened a narrow path. The courier ship moved forward slowly, passing between silent giants of steel. Some had markings from Earth's current era. Others bore old flags, nations that hadn't existed in centuries. The warships weren't attacking. They were guarding something. As they neared Earth, the planet came into view. It looked unchanged. Blue oceans, green continents, swirling clouds. But there were new satellites in orbit. A ring of platforms connected by energy lines surrounded the world. Earth was now a fortress. A second signal came through. Prepare for docking. Central Command will receive you shortly. Inside the docking bay, Alara stepped onto solid ground for the first time in months. The air smelled of Earth's standard atmosphere. Clean, balanced, familiar. A figure approached. Human, tall, armored, calm. Welcome home, Commander Voss, he said. I'm Admiral Kaolo Ryden, head of Solace Command. Alara studied him. His face was tired. His uniform had no flag, just a simple emblem, a shield with a crack running through it. I didn't think anyone remembered me, she said. Ryden gave a faint smile. You were removed for asking the right questions too early. Now we need you. He led her down a corridor of glass and steel. Outside, Alara saw more of the war fleet in orbit. Some docked, some training. What is this all for? She asked. Ryden looked straight ahead. Earth made contact with something not from this galaxy. A presence. A force. We don't know what it is, but it's coming. You're sure? She asked. Ryden stopped walking. We didn't just build the shield to protect ourselves. We built it to buy time. They entered a dark room filled with screens, maps, and rotating energy signatures. A large display lit up, showing strange distortions in deep space, swirls, holes, places where physics no longer made sense. Alara stared. The Council has no idea this is happening. They were warned, Ryden said. But they laughed. Then why stay silent? She asked. Because the Council doesn't believe in preparing. They believe in power, and if they knew what we had, they'd take it, or start a war. Alara looked at the warships, the defenses, the warning messages. You didn't shut the galaxy out, she said softly. You tried to save it. Ryden nodded once. We still are. Back on Verdaxis, the Galactic Council was breaking apart. After the disappearance of the scout ship near Earth's shield, fear had turned into fury. Delegates shouted over one another. Accusations filled the air. Words like betrayal, treason, and preemptive strike echoed in the chamber. High Chancellor Trail stood at the center, calm but firm. His claws tapped the control panel beside him. A hologram of Earth's shield flickered above the room. "We cannot wait any longer," Trail said. "2 ships lost, no explanations, no responses. This is an act of aggression." A tentacled delegate from the Gilari Alliance spoke up, his voice heavy with concern. "But Earth hasn't attacked us directly. We still have no proof of their intent. They've sealed themselves off," Trail replied. "They refuse dialogue. That is proof enough. If we wait longer, we may regret it." Behind closed doors, military fleets had already been activated. Over a dozen species had agreed to back Trail's plan. Gather forces near Earth's border and demand surrender. If Earth refused, the Council would act. But not everyone agreed. In the shadows of a small briefing room, a few representatives met in secret. They called themselves the Balance Coalition. They were unsure of Earth's motives but feared war even more. And in that meeting, someone returned. "Ilara Voss is alive," said a quiet voice. "And she's inside the Terran system." Gasps spread across the group. "How do you know this?" asked a Larixi diplomat. A small recording played. A brief signal burst from Ilara's ship as it passed through the shield. "She got in," the voice said. "Which means we still have a chance." Inside Earth's command center, Ilara stood with Admiral Raiden, watching Council fleets gather on the edge of the system. Thousands of ships, slowly circling the barrier like predators waiting to strike. "They're preparing for war," she said. Raiden nodded. "We knew this would happen." Ilara clenched her fists. "Let me talk to them. One last time. Maybe someone will listen." He looked at her. "They've already chosen fear over facts." "But some haven't," she replied. "There are still voices of reason inside that council. I have to try." Raiden hesitated, then gave a slight nod. "You'll need protection. Take a warning with you. Show them what we're facing." He handed her a small data crystal. "This is what we've seen beyond the dark edges of space. Let them see what we've been shielding them from." A stealth ship, shaped like a black arrowhead, launched from Earth. Ilara sat alone inside, watching the stars shift as it passed through the barrier again. Her destination, Verdaxis, but as the ship moved, her comm lit up. A message from the Council. "This is Commander Searle of the Outer Defense Ring. Your vessel is entering restricted space. Identify yourself." "This is Ilara Voss," she replied calmly, returning from the Terran system with vital information. There was a pause. Then, "Your approach violates lockdown orders. You will be intercepted." Before she could respond, a flash of light filled the screen. A Council warship had fired. But it wasn't at her. It had fired at Earth's outer shield. The beam struck, and bounced back instantly, redirected by a defensive satellite. The energy beam sliced through the firing vessel in complete silence. One shot, one ship, gone. Ilara stared in horror. She hadn't even seen Earth respond. It was all automatic. No retaliation, just protection. Back on Verdaxis, the Council erupted again. Turl raised his voice. "Earth destroyed one of our vessels. This is war." But others objected. "They didn't fire first. That was a warning system. We provoked them." The Council was splitting. The Council was splitting. Ilara's ship reached orbit and broadcast a message. "This is Ilara Voss. I have seen Earth's defenses, but I've also seen why they built them. If you go to war, you'll be fighting the only force trying to save us all." She paused, then added, "And if we don't stand together now, we won't survive what's coming next." The message cut through the noise like a blade. But the Council had already passed a vote. Half the fleets moved toward Earth. The others refused. The galaxy stood on the edge of war, and only the truth could stop it now. Ilara stood in the heart of Verdaxis, surrounded by chaos. Council guards rushed past her. Emergency lights flickered. Delegates shouted from every direction. The chamber no longer felt like a place of unity. It felt like a battlefield without weapons. Earth had not fired the first shot, but their defenses had reacted instantly, erasing a council ship in a flash. Now fleets were splitting. Some still prepared for war. Others refused to attack. The council was tearing itself apart. Ilara walked calmly to the center platform. "Broadcast my message," she told the control tech. "System-wide. Open frequency. No encryption." The technician hesitated. "You're not authorized." "I don't need authorization anymore," she said. "I need time." He hesitated again, then nodded. Ilara stepped up to the central platform. 1,000 species turned to her. Millions more would hear this across the stars. She held up the small data crystal Admiral Ryden had given her. "I know you're afraid," she began. "I was too. Earth's silence, their shields, their warships. It's easy to think they turned their backs on you, that they chose power over peace." She looked around the room. "But that's not what happened." She placed the crystal into the console. A large hologram lit up above the council. It showed deep space, but not the usual stars or black void. This was different. Warped regions, collapsing dimensions, places where light bent and reality cracked. "These are recordings from Earth's outer probes," she said, "taken from beyond the known sectors. Something is coming, something that doesn't belong in this galaxy, or any galaxy." Delegates stared in silence. The hologram showed dark objects moving without mass, shapes with no heat signature, creatures without form. They passed through asteroid fields without slowing. They fed on energy, on stars. "They don't speak," Ilara continued. "They don't send messages, they just move and consume." Another recording played. A human probe sent a message seconds before it was swallowed. "System 49 lost. All stations dark. Shield breach imminent. Emergency fallback in progress. Unknown force cannot be contained." The message cut out. "This is why Earth closed its doors," Ilara said. "Not to prepare for war with the Council, but to buy time for everyone." They were building defenses, studying this threat, shielding the galaxy. She paused. "And now, their silence is the only thing that's protected us." Turl stood up slowly, his face pale. "This is a trick," he said. "A manufactured threat. A way to gain control." Ilara turned toward him. "If it was a trick, why risk sending me back here? Why show you their most guarded data? Why let you live?" No one spoke. Then a new voice echoed from the council doors. "I can answer that." Heads turned. A tall figure walked in, armored and calm. Admiral Kale Ryden. He stood beside Ilara and faced the council. "We didn't want to abandon diplomacy," he said. "But when we warned the council, you mocked us, you dismissed the threat. And when we built our shield, you assumed we were preparing to strike." He tapped a small control on his wrist. A new projection appeared. This one showing a map of potential impact zones. "If Earth falls," Ryden said, "these creatures will move inward. Systems will collapse one by one. By the time you act, it'll be too late." Silence followed. Then a Gilari representative stood up. "What do you ask of us?" "Unity," Ilara said. "A new alliance. No more games. No more fear. We need to stand together. And we need to do it now." Turl's supporters began to back away. One by one, even the most aggressive delegates began to understand the truth. The Council wasn't at war with Earth. They were standing at the edge of extinction, and Earth was their last shield. For the first time in weeks, the chamber of the Galactic Council was quiet. No shouting, no threats, just silence. Not the kind Earth had shown them, but the kind that comes when everyone finally understands the truth. High Chancellor Trail stood at the center, staring at the dark energy readings still hovering in the air. The projections Ilara and Admiral Ryden had shared couldn't be denied anymore. A force was coming. And it wasn't political. It wasn't human. It wasn't even alive in the way the Council understood life. It was something else. Something worse. Trell looked around at the gathered leaders. "I admit my errors," he said slowly. "My fear clouded my judgment. If we are to survive, Earth cannot face this alone." He stepped down from the high platform without protest. Ilara Voss didn't smile. She didn't feel victorious. This wasn't a win. It was a beginning. 3 cycles later, Earth's shield opened. Not wide, but enough for a single Council envoy ship to pass. Inside, it was received without weapons drawn. The human fleet still floated in orbit, silent, powerful, watchful. But their posture had changed. Where once they had closed off the galaxy, now they welcomed it in. Ilara returned with the envoy. This time she wasn't an exile. She was the bridge. Inside Earth's new Global Defense Command, the lights were soft and the air was still. Admiral Ryden met her in the central chamber. He looked tired, but his voice was steady. 14 major species have agreed to the alliance, he said. More are discussing terms. No council titles. No votes, just cooperation. She nodded. What about Trell? He's accepted an advisory role. Quiet, out of sight. His warships are being pulled back. Ilara stood beside the central table. Holograms of Earth and distant star systems rotated slowly in front of them. What's the next move? She asked. Ryden pointed to a blinking point on the map, deep in dark space, near a collapsed star system. There, he said. That's where we detected the first tier. The creatures are still dormant. For now. But movement has begun again. He looked at her. We have time. Not much. But enough. Outside, construction drones zipped through orbit. Council engineers worked alongside humans, building shared defense platforms and long-range detection stations. It wasn't perfect, but it was a start. Later that night, Ilara stood at the edge of Earth's orbital ring, looking down at the planet she once thought she'd never see again. The ocean still shimmered. The lights of cities blinked gently below the clouds, and for the first time in a long while, she felt hope. A voice came through her earpiece. "Commander Voss," said a young pilot. "The next wave of Council reinforcements is arriving. Guide them in," she replied, "and make sure they're welcomed properly." She paused, then added, "We're not just defending Earth anymore. We're defending the future." Far away, beyond the edge of known space, something stirred. A ripple of black moved across the void. But now, the galaxy was watching back. And this time, it wouldn't face the unknown alone.